In this video, we'll discuss the intercession of the saints, citing some texts from the New Testament, an approach that's new to many. This study is based on some of Father Paulo Ricardo de Azevedo Jr.'s statements, raising questions that make sense only to those who have the deuterocanonical books in the Bible. This information isn't limited to these books, but rather that understanding them is necessary to understand what's said in the Gospels. Every Catholic has the obligation not to accept any objection regarding the deuterocanonical books because they are necessary for the understanding of the New Testament, as well as even those called apocryphal by the Church. They also have great relevance when we are going to talk about the most transcendent realities such as the parousia, demonology, the state of souls after death and before the resurrection, among other central and important elements for our faith. The biblical passage we will study is that of the unfaithful servant and that of Lazarus and the rich man. These two parables are told sequentially by Jesus Christ, indicating a connection between them. In the second case, the rich man did not give alms, and because he did not give alms, he went to hell. This Jewish tradition is very ancient, adopted by the Church, which assumes that it is a sin not only to act wrongly, but also to fail to act correctly when the opportunity arises. This is why we pray in the act of penance, by thoughts and words, deeds and omissions. Jews, like Catholics, believe that almsgiving, or charity, washes away a multitude of sins. And the Jews did not take this from 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 8, but from the deuterocanonical book of Ecclesiasticus 3:33. In the first parable, the steward was giving up not the master's money, but a commission he would receive for lending goods that were not his but the master's. This commission was 20%, 50%, or double, depending on how long the debtor had been in default. When the steward called the debtors to negotiate, the steward was giving up his commission. Jesus said, in this regard, that the steward was right, so that by doing good to those in need, when money runs out, those in need may welcome you into the eternal dwellings. This is found in Luke chapter 16 verse 9. However, this passage is a direct quote from Job 4:10, which states that almsgiving is a reserve we set aside so that when our possessions are scarce, God will provide for our needs and we will never lack what is necessary for our sustenance. Another related passage is Sirach 4:6, which states that if you refuse to give alms to someone in need and they curse you, God will hear their curses against you, because the prayer of someone in need is very important to God. Then Jesus comes and shows the other side, in Luke chapter 16 verse 9, if you do good, this same needy person will welcome you into eternal dwellings when his money runs out. While it is clear to me that this intercession is after death, for many it may not be so clear that it is the intercession of the saints. To make things clearer, Jesus tells another story, that of Lazarus and the rich man. In fact, the parable of Lazarus is only told in the book of Luke. There are other references to Lazarus in other Gospels, but he is the brother of Mary and Martha. In this parable, the rich man intercedes for his brothers who are still alive and is not heard. Why would Jesus tell this parable so soon after the first one, if not to say that by doing good to the humble, to that person in need, the dying, if not to say that when that person dies, they will intercede for you before God? On the other hand, by doing good to those who already have their consolation in the present time, they can go to hell, and once in hell, they will not be able to intercede for you. Thus, the Catholic interpretation is the same interpretation that the Jew of the time of Christ would have had regarding the writings of the New Testament, so that, without the books of Tobit and Ecclesiasticus, these biblical passages completely lose their meaning, because they depend on the deuterocanonical books to be understood. Thus, the book of Ecclesiasticus 3:33 says that if you refuse to give alms, the curses of the needy against you will be heard. Then Jesus says that the thanksgiving of this needy person, especially before the eternal tabernacles, will also be heard. On the other hand, the rich man who went to hell did not have his intercessions heard by God. In fact, the Church teaches that we should only appeal to the souls of those already in eternal salvation. It also teaches us to pray for the souls in purgatory and that those already in eternal damnation cannot intercede for us. This idea is exactly the same as the Catholic Church. Even today, Jews themselves pray for the intercession of those who have died and are contemplating the face of God. Some of these righteous people, Zadokim, to whom Jews turn in their prayers, are Maimonides, Shimon Bar Yochai, Yisrael Abahatsiera,